So guys, this is a new Bleach video. It is called a new power-up in Bleach, pronounced Shukai, I believe. I could be wrong. Apparently it's a level beyond Bankai, and I'm very intrigued. I'm very interested in this video, so we're just gonna jump in here.
Attaining Bankai is a critical step in a Shinigami's development. It represents the pinnacle of a Shinigami's power, and is integral
Massive spoilers, by
to
the
their
way.
development throughout the story. Kubo reinforces the idea of Bankai by showing the attainment and evolution of Bankai via several characters, demonstrating the incredible power that these forms.
Hold on. Mugetsu was not a Bankai. Neither was Dangai Ichigo. I guess it was a form of Ichigo's original Bankai, but Mugetsu is not a Bankai. It's a technique possessed by Zangetsu. It is not a Bankai. This is, but I'm pretty sure this and this form, well, maybe that, but this form, I'm pretty sure is not part of his Bankai.
Bankai via several characters, demonstrating the incredible power that these forms bestow upon the Shinigami. Despite the impressive capabilities of Bankai, there are some fans who speculate about the existence of a level beyond Bankai. Now, this hypothetical form is referred to as Shukai, and it serves to raise the bar higher for a Shinigami's growth. While there isn't any concrete evidence of the existence of Shukai, the idea of a power called beyond Bankai continues to intrigue and captivate the imagination of fans.
I love Bleach's music, man. This song that's playing in the background, fucking love it.
In this video, I want to explore the concept of Bankai and its significance to the growth of a Shinigami. We'll be discussing how a Bankai evolves and then delving into the idea of beyond Bankai or Shukai, examining the theories and speculations surrounding this hypothetical form. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a deeper understanding of Bankai and if it is possible to attain a level beyond Bankai.
So I'm actually very intrigued.
Before the video
this.
begins, only 12% of the people who watch my content are subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy these videos, then subscribe and stick around for more content just like this. Now let's get back to the topic of the video. Within any given shonen anime and manga, it's very common for fans to desire something that exceeds the established power limits of that given world. Now this desire to go beyond the limits is shown in various different ways, such as achieving new levels of power, such as a level beyond
Dragon Ball is a perfect example, man. Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan 2 is but a stronger version of Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan 3 is but a stronger version of Super Saiyan 3. Sorry, Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan God is but a substantial increase of Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan Blue is but a substantial increase over Super Saiyan God. But in the manga of Dragon Ball Super, they use Super Saiyan God a hell of a lot more than they do in the anime. Like, I prefer the manga over Dragon Ball Super anime any time of the day. Like, any time of the week. It is substantially so much better. The same goes for Boruto's manga. Boruto, in its manga form, excellent. Boruto in anime, I actually don't mind it, because if you skip lots of the anime canon arcs and just stick to the canon shit, it is very fucking good. But that's my own two
that was
piece.
discussed during the
That's
Cell
my 2
arc,
cents over
which
there.
Goku had hinted at the possibility of after he had recovered from the heart virus. It was thanks to his theory of a level beyond Super Saiyan which had inspired Vegeta to enter into the hyperbolic time chamber. At this time, the Super Saiyan form was the established power limit of the Dragon Ball world, and it took us a while to see a character exceed this limit. It was via Gohan's transformation into Super Saiyan 2, which was proof that there was a way to break through that ceiling and attain an all new level of power. When it comes to Bleach, there is no further expansion upon the concepts of Shikai and Bankai, which are introduced in chapter 127. In recent years, a new edition has emerged within the Bleach universe which may surprise you. Now this edition isn't from the manga or the light novels, but from the very popular gacha game BLEACH Brave Souls. In 2021.
Okay. So this is where they got the idea.
It was announced that a select group of captains would receive their very own Beyond Bankai forms, with 12 exclusive forms released in the game. Now, each of these forms has a corresponding story that attempts to explain the existence of this Beyond Bankai form. At first, I was very excited by this concept.
Hold on. Now, is this form stronger than his adult form, or is it like it should be, right? Because the Toshiro's true Bankai form was shown 2016. I think it was around chapter 6. Was it 660 or was it 670? It's around towards the end, right? 675? 672? Yeah, I think it's around there, where his true Bankai was shown, where he turns into an adult and he gets very fucking strong. So I'm guessing this true Bankai here is like this Beyond Bankai form here is a hell of a lot stronger than that. So that means he is this Beyond Bankai form is so fucking broken, right? Because he could do a lot with his original Bankai, couldn't he? Damn.
Concept, especially since Kubo was supervising the designs for them. However, over time I had become
Yamamoto has a Beyond Bankai? God, I gotta play this game.
Skeptical of this new edition. In this video, I want to
I gotta play
analyze
this
this
game.
Beyond Bankai concept and explore whether if such an idea can exist within the main Bleach canon. I'll also attempt to critically examine how some of these forms are implemented and designed into Bleach Brave Souls. It's essential to
Did we see his Bankai? I don't remember. If we did, I don't remember it very well. I don't remember seeing it.
Understand the concept of Bankai. Now we first hear about it within chapter 127. It is the second release of a Zanpakuto and can only be attained after a Shinigami has achieved the first release, which is Shukai. While Shukai is attained through entering your Zanpakuto's inner world and interacting with it and learning its name, Bankai functions directly opposite to this system, as it requires the Shinigami to bring their Zanpakuto spirit beyond the confines of its inner world by manifesting it into the outside world. Bankai and Resurrection share.
And then you learn your Zanpakuto's true name. Just like Zangetsu, when Ichigo goes Bankai, he then calls it Tensor Zangetsu. So yeah.
A similarity in that.
And the difference, and Renji never unlocked his true Bankai form because his Bankai, Renji took the biggest L in all of Bankai, in all of Bleach, because his Bankai, like his Zanpakuto, didn't think Renji was strong enough or was, wasn't suited, or, he wasn't there yet to know his Zanpakuto's true name. So it was the biggest L in all of Bleach because not even his Zanpakuto acknowledged him as being strong enough to know its true name. And that's when Renji goes through the training in the Royal Palace to learn his true Bankai. Because this is his true Bankai right here. It looks so weird, but the more I look at it, and in the anime especially, it looks really good. But still, this whole monkey hand thing just throws me off completely.
They both require externalization of a Zanpakuto's true form and power. Now, a very important detail about Bankai is that they generally evolve over time, as the respective Shinigami grows in their mastery and understanding of their power. Bankai evolution can take on different forms, such as the learning of an all-new technique that did not previously exist in the Shinigami's arsenal, like we had seen with Byakuya and Yamamoto. It can also take up the form of a manifestation of an all-new or even different power than it had originally possessed, like we see in Hitsugaya's Bankai. In other circumstances, a Bankai can evolve to completely take on a different form, which is demonstrated via Ichigo's various different transformations and appearances of Bankai. Another example of a Bankai taking up a completely
new... Is Mugetsu, the final Getsuga Tencho, is it a Bankai form? I guess if you put it like this, it is. I guess.
Form is of course Renji's true Bankai, which is shown during the 1000-year Blood War arc. Now, understanding this evolution of Bankai is crucial in order to analyze the beyond Bankai forms, because we can now question the plausibility of such a concept, whether if these exclusive forms that are featured within Brave Souls are realistic and rooted in the critical details explained about Bankai and the evolution of it within the manga. The specific criteria required for a Bankai to evolve is varied on a case-by-case basis, but going by each and every evolution of a Bankai that we've seen in the story, we can conclude that they occur as a result of intense training. Like in Byakuya's case, they can also appear as a result of a deeper understanding of oneself and their Zanpakuto, which was the case for Ichigo and Renji. A Bankai can also evolve as a result of a—
Well, Ichigo just had to accept all that he was, and he had to come over the fear that his mom dying wasn't his fault. And there's nothing he could have done as a child, I'm pretty sure.
combination of both of these factors.
He just had to accept his Quincy, Soul Reaper, and Hollow powers inside of him. Because if you don't know, or don't remember, Zangetsu, the old man Zangetsu, was Ichigo's Quincy power, and White was Ichigo's Zanpakuto power, so...
Ichigo has also demonstrated, but for all intensive purposes, as explained by Yamamoto in chapter 509, we can safely conclude that a Bankai is able to evolve. Now this leads us to the next aspect of my analysis of Bankai. There are multiple variations of souls within the Shinigami factions. There are human Shinigami hybrids like Ginjo Kugo. There are Shinigami Hollow hybrids like the Vizards and Tozen. Then there's Shinigami Quincy and Hollow hybrids like Ichigo. But what do these mixtures mean for how their powers are expressed? Well, for Shinigami human hybrids like...
Aside from the Soul King's son, Yuhaba, Ichigo is the only thing close enough to the Soul King that can be considered a Soul King, because you have to have the DNA of Hollow, Soul Reaper, Quincy, and human, I believe. I don't know if human is required, but I know the first three is required.
Ginjo, they can manifest their Zanpakuto abilities along with their Fullbring abilities, and there isn't too much that's known about the Quincy and Shinigami powers that manifest together, because of how little we see these aspects of Ichigo's powers. But the most interesting and deeply explored...
God, when I saw this sword, I was like, man, what an upgrade! Like, I love this design of Ichigo's Bankai sword. It was so fucking sick. And then it snapped and then I was upset. I was so sad.
Variation of Shinigami hybrids is easily the Shinigami and Hollow hybrid. We get a very good look at how Hollow powers interact with a Shinigami's powers during the Aranka arc. From there, we can conclude that Shinigami and Hollow powers can both be equally manifested. Ichigo and the Vizards are capable of doing so by manifesting Hollow masks, which enhance their physical abilities and grant them access to Hollow techniques. Now, these abilities can also be used in tandem with their Zanpakuto powers, as we see with the likes of Ichigo and Love Aikawa. But the most interesting addition to this lore actually happens outside of the manga. On Kubo's exclusive fan club, Club Outside, he reveals that Hollow Shinigami hybrids like Ichigo and the Vizards can not only learn to use Resurrection, but they can even combine its power with their own Bankai and use both at the same time.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Now this is given further credibility by the fact that Tozen could use a resurrection after he had gained Hollow powers. Within Bleach Brave Souls, there isn't a whole lot that is said about these forms within the accompanying story content. Even the variations of the characters that are featured in those stories are an odd mixture of the lingering regrets of the Shinigami. Ruka's threads are...
If any captain should get a redesign for the Bankai, I believe it's her. Like, I understand the meaning behind her like, Bankai that she has now, the giant nuke, but I feel like this Bankai form here fits her as a whole a lot better.
Stories are an odd mixture of the lingering regrets of the Shinigami, Ruka's threads, and Urasakuro's manipulation. So the versions of these characters are not actually the Shinigami that we know and love, but rather just some clones of them. But for some reason, the actual Shinigami are also capable of imitating the powers that are possessed by these versions of them for almost no real reason. Now the closest thing to an explanation that we get is in Ukitake's case, where he absorbs Shunsui's shadows and he gains a power boost from it. But for the most part, the other captains are able to manifest these abilities with little to no explanation, aside from a vague hint at some sort of training that was done. So when it comes to the story content, it's far too lacking in order to make any important contributions to this analysis. So the next best thing that we can do is to assess—
Nah, I prefer his original Bankai, Kenpachi's original Bankai. It was so much
some
better.
of these forms and to question some of the reasoning behind their existence. The one great thing about these designs is that it's quite easy to determine what they were inspired by. For example, Kenpachi's Beyond Bankai form has clear inspiration from Yachiru's Shukai Sanpo Kenju. We see Kenpachi wielding both of these blades, and it adds a very cool detail in Kenpachi's normal attack string, while an invisible third blade strikes from above. This indicates that Kenpachi has gained the power of Yachiru's Shukai. In general,
Yes, but we don't really know, because Yachiru is technically Kenpachi's Zanpakuto, just manifested in the world. So it is theorized that those monsters that we see behind her is actually Kenpachi's like Zanpakuto as well. Just like it is theorized that it is all of the— hold on. It is theorized that all three of these is Kenpachi Zanpakuto, because again, there's no explanation to why she can use Shukai, because she over here is Kenpachi Zanpakuto, so the theory goes that all of this here is just Kenpachi Zanpakuto as well. So
we see Kenpachi wielding both of these blades, and it adds a very cool detail in Kenpachi's normal
But I guess this Beyond Bankai fits him well then,
blade strikes from above.
if you
This
think
indicates
about it.
that Kenpachi has gained the power of Yachiru's Shukai. In general, this Beyond Bankai
because
form
she isn't a Soul Reaper. I'm just so confused at the moment.
which includes very plausible additions to Kenpachi's arsenal of abilities. But are these enhancements enough for it to be regarded as a completely separate form from Bankai? Now I'm going to come back to this question later on in the video. Now another design that outside of its cool visuals really had failed to impress me was interestingly Unohana's. I find it quite funny because both of these forms were released at the same time, and I found myself having rather strong opposing feelings towards each of them. Now the reason is that outside of the fancy attire, it differs very little from a regular Bankai. Now the only difference is that it allows her to manifest Minazuki as an attack, and it allows her to form blood constructs. I was very underwhelmed by this form because of how little novelty is included within its design. And if I was questioning the validity of Kenpachi's form deserving the title of Beyond Bankai, then I'm definitely going to be doing the same thing for Unohana's Beyond Bankai form. Now the final design I want to talk about is Shinji's Beyond Bankai form. It takes a great deal of inspiration from his hollow powers, and his holification extends far beyond merely donning a hollow mask, as it appears to be a far greater—
Yes, but this Beyond Bankai form doesn't look like it fits him well, because we know his Bankai now, so I feel like this is kinda at the moment. Because his Bankai that was shown in the 1000-Year Blood War anime is so overpowered at the moment that it's amazing. So this here looks very underwhelming.
Transformation than just that alone, one that almost resembles a resurrection. He's also shown to be perfectly capable of using Sakanade's power while in this state, and it also shows him using some really novel techniques, like a Sero that incorporates the use of this ring-like construct. Overall, it's a fantastic design with rather cool animations. Now, after going over 3 of these different forms—
Yes, but it doesn't fit his Bankai that we learned about recently, does it now? So I feel like it's kind of meh.
I feel these 3 are representative of practically every variation of Beyond Bankai in Bleach Brave Souls, which is why I didn't feel the need to analyze each and every single one of them. But if you want to see me make videos talking about each of the individual forms, then let me know in the comments. Now Kenpachi represents captains who gain this power through the use of another's power, like Ukitake and Shunsui. Unohana's Beyond Bankai represents captains whose powers are evolved by some means, but despite this, they are still very similar to their actual Bankai. The Beyond Bankai forms of Hitsugaya, Yamamoto, Soifon, Urohara, and Komamura all fall under this category. Now,
I feel like his original Bankai was a lot stronger than whatever this is.
Shinji's Beyond Bankai form represents
I'm sorry, but I prefer his original Bankai. That was so goddamn epic. He has 4 forms to his Bankai, man. Oh, fucking
whose
epic.
ascension to this power
So
is solely
beautiful.
based on their ability to manifest their hollow powers in a new manner. Now this category is only shared by Shinji and Tozen. Now with each of these forms classified, it begs the question, just how plausible is it for these forms to exist within the main Bleach story? If you want my honest opinion, I think that it's possible for some of these powers to manifest, but not as some mythical legendary step of power that exists beyond Bankai, but rather as an evolution of their actual Bankai. For instance, Kinpachi's Beyond Bankai form can exist as a result of him learning to control Nozarashi's power, to the point that he is capable of accessing Yachiru's powers. Now whether if Kinpachi himself would want those abilities is another question entirely. Siphone's Beyond Bankai form could exist as some sort of evolution of her actual Bankai, due to her training or gaining a better understanding of herself. Shinji's Beyond Bankai could simply just be a combination of his Resurrection and Zanpakuto powers, something that has already been confirmed to be possible by Kubo himself. So despite all of this, is it actually possible for a Shinigami to acquire a form beyond Bankai? Well, the only real answer is that we can't tell, because Kubo could wake up one morning and decide that there's actually 7 higher steps above Bankai, and there isn't much that we can do to argue against that. But what I can say for certain is that based upon the current lore of Bleach, it seems to be highly unlikely that a beyond Bankai form can exist. Now the reason that
Well, we never know because the Hell arc is starting or is going to start, and that could reveal a form like, as he stated, an evolution in Bankai, because it's been like a couple of years after the whole Thousand Year Blood War. So maybe in that time everybody has evolved at Bankai. If there's one I'm very intrigued to see, it's going to be Rukia, Ichigo, and fuck, who was the last one I was always excited for? I want to see Aizen's Bankai, man. If he ever does get one, because God, his Shikai alone carried him through the entire Bleach story. So just imagine him having a Bankai, man. Fuck.
had gone into such detail about the nature of Bankai in the first place was to establish that a Bankai form represents the absolute truth of a Zanpakuto's existence. The very means by which a Bankai is activated is most representative of this fact. It's why there's practically no room in the narrative for a form that exists beyond Bankai. I mean, transformations like Ichigo's Dangai state are all but evolutions of his Bankai.
I guess if you put it as an evolution, his Dangai state and his final Getsuga Tensho is a form of his Bankai. But I feel like his final Getsuga Tensho form is a technique used that can only be used in this okay, I guess. Because it's a technique he can only use in this evolution over here, and he can only use it once, so I fucking guess it's a Bankai. Fuck me.
Are not a power that is separate from it. So in theory, all of these forms can still exist within the Bleach story, but not in the way that Brave Souls
Hold on. Now that I'm having a proper look at
all but evolutions of his Bankai are not a power that is separate from it. So in theory, all of these forms can still exist within.
Instead of conjuring a massive like Susanoo piece of shit, sorry, it's not a piece of shit, it's actually quite epic. Instead of manifesting like a Susanoo giant thing, he becomes the giant and he like attacks, I'm guessing. That's actually pretty cool.
In the Bleach story, but not in the way that Brave Souls is selling it to you. And this is apparent when you consider how lacking the narrative reason is for the existence of these forms within the game. They exist mainly to sell the game and outside of some really cool design.
Duh, it's a gacha game. It doesn't technically have to have a story to it. If they want to add power-ups, and as long as it looks cool, people don't give a shit.
They are inaccurate to the lore of Bleach that is established within the manga. So in my opinion, I believe that there's no real possibility of the existence of a beyond Bankai state. But these forms can exist as evolutions of a user's current Bankai. But who knows what the future holds? We'll just have to wait and see what Kubo decides to do in the upcoming stories of Bleach. Will he introduce multiple levels beyond Bankai, like how the Super Saiyan transformation in Dragon Ball has just gotten to ridiculous levels now? Or will he...
I honestly hope not. I love Dragon Ball, don't get me wrong, But I honestly hope not.
Keep things just the way that they are. I would love to know all of your thoughts about this concept of beyond Bankai or Shukai. Do you agree with my reasoning, or do you think that the Shinigami should be able to break through the established power limits in order to attain an all-new form? I would love to know all of your thoughts in the comments.
If they are able to, there better be a goddamn good reason. Like, I want a proper explanation to how they're able to do it.
So definitely continue the discussion. And lastly, thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I can't wait to see you in my next Bleach Explained video. If you enjoy my content, then you can support my channel through Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or even through YouTube by becoming a channel member. You will gain access to exclusive channel perks and a Discord server which I frequently use. So become a member of my Zero Division and be the first to know about my upcoming videos. And once again, thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.
Okay. Like I said in the beginning, I don't know what to expect from this. And the moment he said the inspiration came from the gacha game, I was like, okay, here we fucking go. But honestly, can this exist as an evolution of a Bankai? Yes, honestly, I think it can. Ooh, fuck. I honestly think it's possible. Do I think it's gonna happen? Most definitely in the upcoming Hell arc, it could. Are we gonna get like a Beyond Bankai form, like in the game? I doubt it. I honestly fucking doubt it. But anything is possible, so I'm actually intrigued. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna let this video finish.